Of late, I have been getting a lot of calls from members of the students, the children of the low income organized sector families, parents who are cooks, who are drivers, and these children have done their graduation or are planning to go for higher studies. They want to know how to go about it and how to be successful. I have also been fielding calls on those who have completed these studies and don't find a place in the industry. They are disgruntled, so I made this career choices presentation specifically for that audience. So should you have any purpose for this, please feel free to show it to your domestic help, your driver's children. I hope they get some learning from it. I have processed close to 15 to 20 such students, many such parents, and then I made this presentation. Career choices, low income, unorganized sector families. What's very important is that they need to realize that career for them is a marathon, it's not a sprint. A big disclaimer here is that we believe that every child can achieve as much as they focus upon sincerely. Every individual is the same, though facing different socioeconomic reality. This discussion is based on my understanding is not a structured research. The inputs provided are in good faith and non-discriminatory in nature. We believe that every job has dignity and one must be proud of doing it. This is not about those few exceptionally intelligent and capable people who shine in any case wherever they are. This is about those who are caught in between, who have got the degree but not the job, who are struggling to figure out where they stand. And I will take examples of this. It is very important to keep in mind where did you start from. A few instances, a low income family with limited means and supportive parents, a middle income family with adequate means and supported family parents, a well-off family with surplus and supportive families. These three are very different socioeconomic strata, and therefore the way they go about bringing up their children is very fundamentally different. This presentation that I will be covering is focused on the low income family with limited means and supportive parents. Now, if the parents are not supportive, obviously there is a very different thing that the child has to go through. But here, the big assumption is that the parents are supportive, the family is low income, it's from the unorganized sector. And as I said, these people don't have a job, they don't have a monthly income perhaps to take home, or even if they have a monthly income, it's not structured in nature. So that job can go at a moment's notice. It might be a driver who's working with you for some time and you decide to shift over to some other location, and the jobs are dependent on your being there. Those kind of jobs that I'm talking of. When I ask these children as to where do they want to go, where do they see themselves, they want to become a professional and study in good colleges. They want it to be the support for their parents when they need them the most. They want to earn well, feel proud of themselves. In short, they want to see themselves as employed in good organizations and carrying out the work. They have aspirations because they have closely seen perhaps the executives and the officers, and they aspire to be like them. But how can they do it? One might have the aspiration, that is one side of it, which is very good to have. That's the start point. These aren't those children who are wasting their time or loitering around and all. No. These are those children who want to make a difference in their lives, in the lives of their loved ones. They are sincere, they want to work hard, they are not shirkers, but they need the opportunity. How will they get this opportunity? That is what they are struggling to find out, and that is where I am coming to you from in this presentation. They go about and get some good qualification from some college, a BCom from a known college, a graduation in engineering also. They go and do some courses in history or fine arts or English or Hindi or whatever they get into. They want to become a graduate. That is one very big thing that is important. And when they achieve that, their family is overjoyed. Their family is overjoyed because perhaps no one in that family has ever studied that long or that far. They are overjoyed, but then the reality bites in for that candidate. This child says that I studied hard and I cleared all the exams. I got the qualification and everyone is happy. But I am upset because I could not get a job. I was rejected in interviews. I did not get interview calls for many companies. I should have got them. I am now doing a job earning much lesser than what a taxi driver earns. I look happy, but I am totally torn from within. I realize that studying hard amidst all odds, promising to work hard is not enough. One needs to be connected to the right people, born in the right family to succeed. Now, when I talk of driving a taxi, everyone seems so sad in my family. Why did I study at all and raise hopes for everyone? Now, these are the harsh realities that these children have to face. And this is not so far away. Believe me, if you look a little within your own community and the people you are interacting with, you will see such children there. They aren't bad children, they are very good children. In fact, the distance that they have covered in their academic world is far more than what others would have covered. One has to understand that. However, they face the reality, and this reality is not so easy. The truth that is not much spoken about is that jobs are scarce. Most of the recruiters look for the knowledge and skills, and when the degree is there, they assume that someone who has got a good knowledge and skills will be able to deliver when it comes to that particular aspect. However, they also evaluate if the individual is smart enough. That word smart is very important there. What it means is spoken and written English, ability to carry out a quality conversation, finesse and grooming, well read and confident. Now, all of these take time to develop for a child who has not been exposed to this kind of a scenario. However, if the parents are well off, the child has been exposed to such scenarios already. So, for my disadvantaged person, it becomes so difficult to compete in these aspects as well. The recruiters do not care about where you started with or how difficult life has been with you. However, there is a glass ceiling at even entry levels. One has to work around it, learn to work around it. Glass ceiling is not only at the corporate level, even right at the entry level, there is a glass ceiling for such candidates, and they need to know that, they need to realize that, they need to be prepared to handle that. Now, there is a way to handle. I'll come to that. But what's very important is that know that this glass ceiling exists. Don't be in the paradigm that the moment I get my qualification in place, I will get a job and things will fall in place. It is not that easy. It is not that easy for any child today. It is even more difficult for those disadvantaged children. So, what is the way to go about? Now, I've distilled whatever I am going to say from a lot of interviews that I have done with these children and the suggestions that I have given them and those who have worked around it. So the thing is that work where your passion is. Do not be over invested in finding a job. They think lots that we'll get the graduation and then we'll get a job and all. Don't think like that. Focus on the learning that you are getting. Find your passion. Spend that time to figure out what is that you really want to do. Study subjects that connect with what you really want to know. Do not go for BA history, BA arts, where you have got no interest. You just got that subject and that was the only subject because of the grades that you got in class 12. Do not go for those. Instead, there are other options. I will talk about that. Be very clear on what options you need to select, what options you need to take. Just don't blindly go for graduation, because graduation is all about conceptual knowledge. And you know that you have to beat that with another thing. And we will discuss on that as well. Study for love of knowledge. Look beyond the job right from the beginning, because the job market is going to be tough one. If you get a reasonably good one, good for you. However, understand that it's a very tough market. So what you do is to create things, innovate, and invest in developing hands-on knowledge. This is something which people do not want to do. They don't want to dirty their hands. They don't want to take on those skills that are so important. The children from other affluent families don't want to do that. So this is where you need to make your mark. Stay positive, as it is going to be a very long journey to be able to break that glass ceiling that you will face right from the beginning. Many people face the glass ceiling later in their careers, but believe me, you are going to face it even while you are entering the college. While you are going through the 4 years, 3 years in college, you will still face that. There will be a group of people who will not be speaking to you, they will keep you away, and at the same time, you will face it when you come for the job interview, even though you have worked very hard still. So, how do you create the path? Find a guide. Do not try to walk this path alone. Choose the right subjects as per your interests and strengths. Find out the possible opportunities. Calibrate your steps. Include work and skill at every step. First step should be vocational grad certification that you get, and then you work. Next step should be diploma, and then you work. And then the next step is degree, then you work. Create your differentiator based on work to counter the ability of conceptual ability that you would have developed, of course, but that won't be so evident. It will be difficult to talk on that. You might have memorized all the definitions, you might know all the formulas, you might be able to implement them, but believe me, there are many others who can do that. You have to figure out what can you do differently. You work hard, be determined, but be very innovative. That is the capability that you have, and you have to encash on that. Beware of the societal glass ceiling. You might not be invited to certain parties of your friends at your friend's house also. That's okay. Beware of that societal glass ceiling. Learn to gain knowledge, not a job, and do not get misled by the advice of those with vested interests. I have seen students who are scoring very less marks are being advised to pursue a path like MBA finance, or being advised to pursue a path like chartered accountancy, or uh, subjects like strategic marketing, and it makes no sense. These are those people with vested interests who are just trying to drive these kids and show them a wrong picture. Do not do that. So find a guide who will be there at every step, and whenever you want to get some clarifications and want some things answered, go with that guide. Who is that guide? Figure that out. You will know that. It might be a person whom your father can connect you to, it can be a person whom you consider as a role model, but no deeper. Don't just go at the surface level. Here are two instances that I will now share with you. Shikha, what should she choose? Shikha looked up to her cousin who was now working in the bank. She said that she was a wealth manager. In fact, this girl was not a wealth manager at all. She was working in the wealth management team largely for bookkeeping and records keeping. That's all that she was doing, and she actually influenced Shikha wrongly. Shikha wanted to do the same and so enrolled into the BCom program and decided to study for CA. Shikha's mother was a cook in a household. She was committed to see her daughter do well. There was limited amount of money at their disposal. As she joined college, she saw many students in the classroom. Many were from better schools, well-to-do families, much better grades than her. They were attending coaching classes, and they had also decided to study for CA. Shikha wondered if she had chosen the right path. Will she be able to compete with them? So what do you think Shikha should do in this case? What should have been the approach she should have taken? She got misled because the role model that she emulated actually misled her totally. Let us now consider the situation of Akash. What should he do? Akash's father is a proud man. His son has just completed graduation, thus becoming the first graduate in the family. The father worked as a small household scrap dealer and was educated up to grade 5 in the village school. With a lot of difficulty, he would count, and of course he learnt enough so that he could carry out his work, and signature was always an issue with him, but he could figure out. He would say, "I am not Anguta Chap." He ensured that his son could study and make him proud. Akash had completed Bachelor of Arts in History. As his father went around with a big smile, Akash knew that there was no job possibilities for him. He told his father that he wanted to study more, just to hide the painful reality from him. To which the proud father said, "Why, now you'll get the job of an officer. After all, you are a graduate. I have not saved anything all these years. Now I will relax and you will start working as a sahib." Now you can imagine the kind of pressure the poor child would be in. When I met him, he offered me sweets because his father had sent it, and he also told me the scenario that he was in. So I just guided Akash on what should be done next. And yes, he is a bit better, but obviously he had to deviate from that complete line that he had chosen. And his father was a bit heartbroken because he said that what's the point of doing graduation if ultimately my son has to join my business and scale it up. Reality bites, and therefore it's very important for us people who can guide these families that we should be doing that. So for these children, what should they do? That's a very important question, and here is what I figured out and I think they should do is that the differentiator with the other income groups is that these children have to focus on work and skill while at the same time going up the value chain and learning more and more and acquiring more qualifications. I totally support that. Any learning adds value. However, the big differentiator is the skill and the work. Now, how do you gather that? They should study whatever you are really interested in. Don't go for anything that you are getting because of the grades that you got in your graduation or in your class 12 or something. Study only those subjects that you are really interested in. Find a mentor. Do not fall for the traps that people set up for you. There are enough of people who try to set up traps and exploit and make you live in this imaginary world. Do not do that. Be cautious. Start from the vocational degrees, vocational qualifications, work. Then you do diploma, work, and then you do degree and work. And in between, as you do your vocational, and if you are very skilled in the line that you are in, you would definitely get a chance to work for a big company. And when you work for a big company, they will be able to take you forward for your diploma or for your degree. So what's important is that do your vocational, be very good at what you are and focus on that, and over time develop your skill to such a level that you are sought after. This is something highly doable. So go for these skill based courses, go for hotel management or culinary sciences, go for nursing, go for drafting, go for automobile repair courses, go for becoming an electrician, go for becoming an HVAC technician, go for a lab diagnostics person. There are many jobs, but don't fall into the trap of the degree. The degree is a must, you must get it, but understand that it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Gauge it well, time it well. Your success mantra should be to use high degree of skill to gather conceptual foundations. So go for the skill and then keep on going up the ladder step by step. You will achieve, but please do not fall for the trap. If you want to contact me, you can contact me at sogata@metl.in, and my phone number is 9966027808. I can be contacted on WhatsApp at this phone. I look forward to talk to you and help you in this journey in whichever way I can. Thank you for listening to me.